Okay, we're gonna start the Planning Advisory Committee meeting for January 26th. Roll call or call to order, I guess is what I'm doing. Roll call, please.
Jeff Perry.
Here.
Randy Lewis.
Here.
Isaiah Johnston.
Here.
Arundel Stargard.
Here.
Cynthia Sun. Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Finally. Okay. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. We have to, as I recall, approve each one independently. So
You can do it as a block if there aren't any changes.
there's one.
Okay.
Might be two. Hold on one second. One's dealing with dates. Oh, the November 17th.
Okay.
Has September 17th.
Seems like date, got it.
The only other question was that one issue I raised at the last meeting on the October 20th, 25 minutes.
Hmm.
The public comment period or portion of the minutes where Will Harris was making comments. Did you listen to see whether it was services or plans? I thought it was related to plans. Either sentence would make sense, but I thought it was related to plans, not services.
I did look at it, and I didn't see any, I didn't see that it was wrong or that it needed changed. It made sense to me. So unless you had something specific you wanted to change it to.
I can't, I mean, he's the one that said it, so I can't. I thought he said plans, but if what you caught was services, you know, we were on with it. So with just that one change, can they bulk
Yeah, as amended.
as a minute? I'll entertain a motion.
I move we adopt all of the minutes with the exception, including the one change that Jeff pointed out.
With the date?
Huh?
With the date, you mean?
That was the
Okay.
November 17th.
Yeah.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Minutes are approved. You have the agenda before you. Staff wanted to change one thing in the sequence of the agenda, and that is under number 3, where they have the rezone, where it's going from R5 to RC3. That one's going to move to the end of the, so in other words, it'll be the third one, not the first one. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to amend the agenda to move the rezone of one parcel to the third position, the continuations first.
Okay.
Second,
Second.
second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, agenda is approved. Conflict of interest inquiry. I possibly have a conflict of interest with what's now the third one. I know the parties, or at least the families of the parties, but I will discuss it, but I will not vote. Anybody else? Good. That's very handy when Echo, you shake your head. That's quicker almost than you saying yes or no. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Next meeting date is February 23rd. Fourth Monday again, with holidays in between there. So if anybody can't make it, please let us staff know so we can make the excused absence. Committee staff updates. As far as the committee, I don't know that any of us have updates. I guess it'd be staff mainly. Staff.
The only update I have is next meeting, most likely going to be on the resource ordinance. Not necessarily a work session, but maybe a presentation on the more information that we need to review to meet that's what we're trying to say to recommend for the resource ordinance. So and to be consistent with the comp plan that we know. So that would would be the topic for February.
Okay. Anything else? It's too easy. I know, there's more embedded in that.
There'll be more.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's no worry on that one. Okay, other business. We have we come to the election of officers, primarily chair and vice chair. So,
I nominate Jeff to continue on as chairman.
to advance to chair, I was vice chair that whole time.
What's that?
I was vice
Wow.
chair.
Yeah. Okay, I move to promote Jeff from vice chair and acting chair to actual chair.
I second that.
I'll accept if we can make, at least take a look at one of the steps in the bylaws where the chair doesn't get to vote. At some point, not necessarily
I
tonight.
would not object to letting the chair vote.
We can add that to the next meeting.
Please. Then that way,
No,
because it's like, I don't get to say anything. It's like, my vote doesn't count, yeah. And things get misconstrued by people that, how you accept or don't accept.
no, I agree.
Any comment from other members on that?
Um,
Or we'll look at it when we.
I think, so is your acceptance conditional on that being accepted? Or,
Well,
because I think you need to do one first.
yeah, I think at this point, I'll rescind. Having it conditional.
Okay.
Then if we can't work through it, then we'll make a decision at that point.
Okay.
How about you, Echo? You're good? Okay. It's been moved. Has it been seconded?
That
I'll
goes-
second, yeah.
Oh, Echo seconded? Okay, thanks. All those in favor?
Uh,
I
Those against? All right, it's all for it, I guess. Thank you. Okay, moving along, public comment.
The vice
Do we
chair.
select a vice chair?
Oh, I'm sorry. Vice chair time. Who would like to serve as vice chair?
I nominate Cynthia to be vice chair.
I feel I'm a little too green just yet to take that position, but thank you.
But you could learn on the job.
I'm learning yes, I am learning. I haven't gotten through the whole plan yet, but I'm working on it.
Isaiah's been through.
If nominated, you will not. If nominated, you will not run. Elected, you will not
Not
serve.
at this time. Well, I'll be on the committee, but I don't want to be vice chair.
No, we don't just talk about.
Echo, would you turn down the nomination?
I being pretty green myself, I feel a little trepidation, but I won't say no.
I would like to nominate you.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to nominate Echo as the vice chair of the Planning Advisory Committee. All those in favor?
I,
I
Alrighty.
Welcome to the unique club of the PAC.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you for keeping me straight on that.
Mhm.
Appreciate that. Okay, now on to public comment. On public comment, the comments that are made by the public, both Zoom and in here in the conference room, are to be on issues not as part of the three items that we're addressing tonight. So they can be on anything else related to planning, but not these three. The public will have an opportunity to comment on these at different, in each one of these different items we take up later. But this is the point for anything anybody wants to bring before the PAC. So, and you have up to 3 minutes for public comment. Anybody here have anything not related to the agenda? Anybody on Zoom? Looks like Echo's the only one on Zoom, or I guess
Icon.
iPhone. Yeah, and I guess the EDC also. Okay, seeing none, we'll move ahead. Public hearings. So the first item that we'll be addressing will be the continuation of the rezone for parcels 32007-11-900-110, 112, and 30, and 40. This is with the hearing that we had before, but had to table it only because we didn't have a quorum to vote on it. So staff presentation, please.
So a reminder that this property has been in residential use for quite some time. It was zoned. It's right off the Johns Prairie in the Shelton urban growth area. To the south is some commercial properties. To the north and adjacent to is neighborhood residential. And this property just, I think at one point the county thought it might be, something that would go to commercial industrial type use, and it did not. And the owner wants to just continue the residential use. We support that. And so just rezoning it to the neighborhood residential. And then you had questions about the C5 I brought with me. If you remember what those were, I couldn't recall. Not go back to the minutes to.
A couple of things. One is the application, some of the fields were not filled out from page 6 of 15 onward or backwards.
So when rezones, this would be considered a non-project action for SEPA, which means that section B of the environmental elements typically does not have to be filled out at all.
Oh, okay.
And so, we would normally just put NA. So really it's
Yeah,
section
I didn't know.
A, C, and D.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And then the other item was, again, not in my mind affecting whether it changes or not, but just noting that in the county's GIS, it shows all under a lot of the area of the Shelton UJ as aquifer recharge area.
Yep.
So, and so there was a question in there, and I can't remember how it was answered at the moment, but not to me that would make a difference because of what's all around it, but it just wasn't answered the way I think it's supposed to be.
What was the question?
It had to be if there was an aquifer on that aquifer recharge, as I recall.
Yeah, most of Johns Prairie, ironically, there's a aquifer under there, and that's where most of our commercial industrial properties are. So this neighborhood residential zone property is more suited for the aquifer.
Right. So other than that, nothing.
Okay.
Any other members?
Now, it was just, my comment was there wasn't a whole lot of information on the application, but that answered it, that there was not going to be any environmental impact. In fact, I think it's probably to the favor.
Yeah, this is considered a down zone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I say anything from you? Echo anything from you? Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, next would be public comment. And I believe any public comment in the audience here related to that rezone. It's up to you. We heard, at least some of us heard before, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's only, what had happened is, my dad built the house for us when my sister passed away in the 90s. And so when he short platted the property, goes for, then that was when it was changed to commercial. And so now that my mother and my father have passed away, I inherited their property, and my house I still have with my husband. And so I had to put in a new septic system, a 6-bedroom septic system, because the old one failed. There's 6 bedrooms on that house. And so the county recommended that to change it back to residential, because I'm not doing anything commercial there. It's just my girls are living in the house, and my friends are living in the apartments. Other than that, I don't know what else you want to update.
No, they just, anything that, enlighten us, further on it.
Yeah, that's all. That's it.
As to the rezone purpose or whatever, and you have.
And I had to rezone it. I had to add the 2 back properties to the main house in order to have over 2 acres in order to accommodate the 6-bedroom septic system.
Yeah,
So I have, that's the system, and I have a secondary in case that one fails, so I have room if I have to fill it in. That's what I did. I combined those three, but now they're wanting to change it back to resident. It's a commercial.
That was interesting. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. We're here to listen. Thank you much. Anybody in Zoom land have any comments, public comments regarding this rezone? Okay, seeing none. Here we move on to PAC deliberations and recommendations.
I recommend we approve it. Move it forward.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the rezone of, and I'll read it, make sure we got the right one. Of parcel number 32007-11-90110, 90112, 90030, and 90040. Any further discussion on the board members? Any from you?
I'm very supportive.
Okay. All those in favor?
All right.
It's been moved, approved. Thank you. Okay. Then on the sequence, next order of business is, she's not very ceremoniously. You just done and.
I'm done. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay, so the next thing is the draft Allen Severity Plan. Continuing with that, correct? That's what, yeah. Okay, staff.
But just a reminder, because we've already had a couple of presentations on it. So the Allen Severity Plan, the revision was prepared by SCJ and I've been doing our comp plan update. And the updates was taken from feedback that we gathered at a community meeting in February of last year. So the summary of those comments was provided in the packet, as well as the matrix from the comments that the PAC had on the November draft. And then the draft you all got for this meeting, there was only one revision, and that was a reference to the capital facilities financing and utilities chapter for the most up-to-date information on financing and future needs for so that was there's only an addition of a reference in there from the December draft. And then I think that's it. No other changes since our last meeting.
Okay, thank you. Questions from PAC members and staff? A couple of questions? Staff?
I don't think so. think so.
Okay. Randy?
I got nothing.
Okay. Okay, then we will go on to public comment. Okay, public comment in the room. This is dealing with the Allen Severity Plan update. That was originally presented in November and again in December, and we got it again in January. Only reason we didn't have quorum at the time. Anybody want to speak to that? Okay, seeing none in the room. Anybody in Zoom land? Seeing none there. Okay, on to PAC deliberations and recommendations. Okay. We plan back in front of us. So there was a couple, staff had a couple things that they wanted, if I recall correctly, wanted just to discuss or deliberate on or decide one way or the other. So let me see if I can. What was that? Was that in this?
So in the matrix, you had the couple of comments that are highlighted in blue.
Um, not the ones in the staff report. That's different.
Yeah, those are the same. Yeah, those are the same in the staff report.
Okay, okay. In the staff report, there was. I assumed J2 was me.
Yes.
My thinking was basically to leave basically the vision statement as is, amending it with only new things that were brought up. Because there's a lot of community effort back in the in 2005 and 6 and 7 towards that vision statement.
So what new things are you referring to?
I didn't even go that far. I was saying, just, leave the vision statement there. And if somebody sees something new that they want added, then that's where I would go with it. I didn't even bother looking ahead to see, okay, what's new.
So you just wanted to say exactly the same.
Well, I was leaving it open so that, not saying just leave it alone, but I'm saying if somebody had something that wanted to add,
Mhm.
I'm more than happy, entertain that. But it seemed like to me, didn't want to change. There might be a better way to say what they had stated, but
So I see your comment adding from the second paragraph where it starts, Allen aims to provide a high quality of life.
I think that was something new that came.
Okay. So you don't have it, do you have it drafted with that in there?
No, I don't. Yeah, I only went so far with it.
Okay.
So,
That was a comment from the public, right? The quality of life.
right.
Yeah, so that's what they want.
And two things at once. And so, okay, so anybody, I have not figured out where to add that in, just. But I'm fine with adding that in, where it logically makes sense.
Do you have it in front of you?
Huh?
Like, do you have the sub-area plan in front of you that you can place it?
Yeah,
So-
it's on page 6. Vision statement or community vision statement.
Anyway, I just want to know where he wants it to be input so that we can have.
I think it's right there at the end. As the community grows, it envisions a village style setting that supports walkability, sustainable development, environmental preservation, economic vitality rooted in local character, and maintain a quality of life. There's something right there.
Put it there.
I mean, if you're just looking to put it in there, it's all very vague anyway.
Yeah.
A sense of
It's-
feeling that the folks want,
Right.
so that's, what they're striving for. So it seems easy enough just to put it in there.
Anybody see any issue with putting it in after the first paragraph of the visual statement there at the end?
Because they're talking about what they envision, so the quality of life is,
So are you removing it from the second paragraph and putting it?
Oh,
yeah, well, it's there, it already is right there,
Okay.
so I think we should just leave it, they wrote it, you're kind of being redundant there to say it twice,
I
so,
agree.
yeah.
So we're leaving it.
we're leaving it.
Okay.
An oversight on my part.
So that one is addressed.
Right.
So. one.
21, see page 21.
It's. Hopefully this is-
Or whatever. And then you kind of moved around a little bit. Where after besides further to revision this recommendation, keep over the lake.
Which one are you on there, Jeff?
Well, it's on, they call it J21, but it's on page 22. Recommendation I get, I believe to C1, I guess. Let's see.
Establish. Recommendation C1, establish the village compatible design guidelines, that one.
Yes.
And here's.
And I, the community of Allen had a vision where it was kind of like a, I'm trying to remember how they phrased it. A character, how, so I guess what I'm saying is, I always, whenever we put design guidelines in, it seemed like people that are trying to do the building or developing they weren't warm and fuzzy with it. In other words, they wanted the latitude within the scope of what's allowed by zoning and the different requirements that way, and then not be constrained by a design standard. And so that was in the past. I didn't hear that really discussed anything in that meeting back in February of last year. I attended that meeting.
Yeah, I was not here to talk to me.
Yeah,
Remember,
no,
but-
I hear you.
So what are you
I
suggesting?
would just saying strike that whole paragraph as far as getting into design standards.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, my understanding of the plan, that this overall growth management plan is that it's very vague, and then to get down to the nitty gritty, that's when people apply for a permit and people can comment or, public hearing on a specific permit to do something, and then it goes from there. But I think we gotta be careful about being too restrictive in these comments. Or, getting into design features and all that kind of thing. I mean, I think communities have to have some parameters, but they also have to have some freedom to.
The way it came across years back then was the issue that they have these zoning requirements and the setbacks and all these different things.
Right.
That way. And, square foot, I mean, a number of different things.
Mhm.
They wanted more, they didn't want to get into, yes, it'd be nice if there was a theme, but there is no theme to the town in the sense of, it's not like Leavenworth or
Right.
something.
But it sounds like they want to create that
That's
if
the
they
thing,
can.
I think
Yeah.
they want that.
Yes,
And so I'm not about restricting
right.
builders, but at the same time, if the community wants the feel of a village community, I don't know.
I think they should be able to pursue that avenue if that's what they want for their community.
Which leaving this in there affords that, but I think the thing with that is it establishes a village design guideline, but you can still, as a builder, developer, submit a request for a variance.
Yeah. That's what I mean by when you get down to the nitty gritty and applying for permits, then it would take it, a whole different.
And I'm only conveying, two things. One is, we all vote on it, one, but two, I'm still can't vote on it at this point anyway. So all I'm doing is conveying what I've heard. And
You can offer an opinion or point of view.
Yeah. But and I kind of support based on what's happened in the last 20 years there. They started out with a larger commercial zone. We ended up shrinking it because nothing was happening. The people that were towards the outer edge had a problem where it was zoned commercial, but the numbers never penciled out in building anything. And so nothing happened with the land. As soon as it got rezoned to residential, like the adjacent, in other words, there's two zones. There was a commercial and there was a residential. When the residential moved a little bit and a little less commercial, then all of a sudden development started happening as far as residential. So.
I'm not sure how you would define if a building is part of a village or not.
Architecture.
If there's design,
Because it's established.
Yeah.
It's.
Oh, it is pretty
It's an
established.
Established village.
It hasn't said it.
It hasn't been put in place.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and I was only taking the tack and
Mhm.
saying, well, I take the time at this point, to do it, but
I mean, truly, that's up to Alan.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just a vision, a wish, a desire. It doesn't mean we're gonna make a rule, does it?
what do you think? Echo?
Mm, I think I sort of agree with the overall sentiment that we're heading to as far as recommendation C1 goes. Um, it should sort of be the sort of thing that's left up to the people of Allen, and I don't quite understand how its inclusion in this plan really benefits when it is so vague in its wording.
Okay.
How many villages have golf courses?
I don't know.
Sorry. Actually, I'm not.
Okay, so, like we did when we were trying to work through the other part a few months back. So I hear the leaning at this point is leave it in.
Well, what's the worst case scenario if you leave it in? I mean, if
Like a lot of things in life.
I mean, if the people of Allen want this vision, why would we take it out? Why not leave it in there? That's what they voiced that they wanted to see. I don't know.
I don't see any harm in leaving it in because
Right.
it isn't some sort of strictly binding document.
Correct. That's my point, I guess. If it was strictly binding and we said none of this and none of that,
I know, I get it.
but we're just giving them the freedom to vision and develop how they want.
So the PAC is saying leave it in.
I'm saying that. I don't
Okay.
know if everybody.
We'll leave it in. Okay, moving on. 22, page 22. What's the thing here? C2 and C3. It's
Same kind of stuff.
yeah, same issue.
Yeah.
There I had a little more personal experience, and it just seemed like, but I don't disagree that it's vague enough that it's not really nailing anybody down or nailing anything down.
I think they're just wanting to celebrate their heritage and their history of how, what kind of brought Allen into being a town.
I just don't see why we would not encourage the reuse of older buildings for
Right.
different
Right.
purposes.
mean,
I agree.
think that's always what you want to do if you can.
Okay, so back, leave it. Okay. I just bring the opinion, observation, and if it goes the other way, that's life. So I'm not married to it. I mean, it's just things that have come up in the past that make sure that people, when we're, members are making an educated decision about things in the past. So appreciate it. Okay, what else did I have that's not on this?
I was at that meeting too. I can't believe that was almost 2 years ago. Time flies.
So we put all the discussion items. As far as you can see.
Sorry?
Those are the discussion items as far as.
That's what I was
you can
thinking. That's what was summarized here. I didn't summarize. Well, summarized in the staff's recommendation area.
Mhm.
Then there was this matrix they put together, different things. So let me look, see what your kids are. So I don't see, like with Echo's comments, I don't see anything we're adding or taking away, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so staff responses, they added this language to the OS-3 item. I did, Brian. Randy? So you feel that the last comment with regards to your Highway 3 problematic issue where noted the recommendation under the transportation and circulation section, I believe that encompasses the points you're making. I mean, did it?
Well, if I'm remembering right. Yeah, I think the comments were okay. Basically, you got a main drag splitting the community in two. And apparently there's some safety concerns about crossing one way and the other.
Like the light, you mentioned the light on either end to slow down traffic, and then to aid back and forth traffic.
Something like that, yeah.
Traffic calming solutions. I mean, there's lots of things when they get to that point that they could.
Well, I know some time ago, was it when I've served on TIPCAP that there was look at roundabouts there at where North Bay Road and Highway 3 meet. There's one area to slow, to calm it down. There's different issues there at the intersection of Lakeland Drive and Highway 3.
I think there was a presentation on that from the traffic person here not too long ago that talked about one of them. I think they proposed 3 roundabouts, and one of them wouldn't make a difference. One was there, but the other 2 were definitely a significant difference to aid traffic. I don't know if I have that paperwork in front of me, and I don't know that I was on the committee then. I think I was public at a public meeting when that traffic person gave a presentation.
Okay, well, I'll move it along if it's not
Yeah.
raising anybody's ire or attention.
No, go for it.
Then you have the projected population growth in Allen, where, and let's see comments here. I think you have to look, you probably don't have it, right, but look, staff did address it. This is the projected population of Allen, and then where is your question? And staff is saying they don't know where, but they are accommodate for that. Is the way I read it. Yeah, we don't have any way of knowing where in the UK.
Was that my comment?
Yep.
Just part of a general thing. I think these projections are not very granular, but there's no reason I should impose that on this. So.
Well, I think, and then the last one, you're addressing the parking situation along either side of the Highway 3. It's not ideal. And all staff could say is they agree. It's been in the.
What can you do?
It's been a discussion, and being involved with the community in more detail. One of the big problems is that when you look at property lines, like at the commercial, the highways, like where Big Bubba's is, the highway, right away is actually right. You're familiar with it. They have a little loop for people to go around, in front of the facility there, and so basically the property line's like 15 feet off of the road into the development, so it's not leaving a lot of room to do anything. Even less room than you have right now.
From the center line, isn't the isn't it 60 feet?
It's just kind of 30 each
Yeah,
way,
30
but there's
each
a couple
way.
of spots I think might still be 80, but most of them are 60.
Mhm.
And so when you look at where it is,
Sure.
and everybody's talking about, they look at it as it is, and it looks like you got room to get more off-street parking. The problem is the state's right of way is even further.
Right.
In other words, it's like at the carving shop there, it's almost to where all the gas pumps were. I mean, nobody surveyed back in the day when they put
Yeah.
the stuff in, so anyway, that's just background. Um. I'm not having trouble relating to, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I'm trying to relate it to what in the plan there. For residents of Lakeland Village, primarily retired or workers. I think you're asking a question, and where do they work? And I think this is trying to figure out, I don't know if this is the transportation side or the development side, but there's a question you asked. And staff mentioned there are a couple of census districts over Allen. Employment data isn't really available for just, the boundaries of the EGA. To answer your question, to address your question.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, my observation is, being in Allen for a number of years, is a lot of people come down, they move to Allen, but they don't move there because of employment. They move there because environment or setting or something of that nature. And
Basically a bedroom community.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people, there is a fair amount of retirees, but there's also a number of people that are in their 50s. The kids are grown, they're still working, and they commute or, home offices. So, and they want to make their last working years less in,
Yeah, I get it.
Roma.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I wish I could have done that.
North Bay Case and sewer system ownership. Got answered by saying it's owned and managed by the county. I think it was a question you were asking.
I think most of these are just general comments.
Right.
That we need to go through.
Right.
Every one of them
Right.
answer.
Okay, so moving along to some of the ones I'd start going into, see if you have general comments or not. It looks like the staff, where I was raising the issue that the summary plan should be referenced, in the comp plan. Staff has taken that action to do that. Next point, I think the original, we already addressed the vision statement. Okay, it's still moving on. Ask the question, in their plan, there's a bunch of text dealing with the natural environment. And I was pointing out that, in the original plan, it's addressed. Nothing's really changed with the natural environment. So do we need to state it all over again? And comment from staff was continued to reference 2006 for this minor update that's focused on zoning with it. So I'm not sure. Is staff recommending that we take that out or leave it in? Or what is staff thinking? This is the one where we have.
So my thought was you were talking about including the natural environment information from 2006 into 2025.
No, it was the other way around. Saying it was already in the plan. Why list it again? At least I thought it was. I read it.
Oh, you're talking about the existing condition. Well, I mean, I guess that's up to you guys. I mean, I feel like there's this, it's not too in depth in this version. It just kind of introduces it.
I mean, it's not gonna, from the standpoint, it's not gonna hurt anything. I'm just saying, smaller is better.
It's up to, I have no opinion on this. I mean, this is just background information and, the natural environment up to about the point where it talks about demographics is all background information. That's probably pretty much the same from the last one, so it's up to you
Okay.
guys if you want to.
What are PAC members saying?
I think leave the 2006 in place.
Right.
If it's very similar, why rewrite it again? If it's fits, leave it.
What do you think?
I agree with that.
Yeah, what do you think?
That's fine.
Go.
Yep.
Okay, so PAC saying then basically remove it from the sub-area plan, but just if it needs a reference, fine, but if we're gonna keep the other plan totally, which I think we are, that'll be good enough. Thank you. Yeah, I missed that on this next one. Sub-area plan should reference, where I say is it should reference the 2017 circulation and waterfront access plan. Yeah, there's a couple words in there right in the beginning. It said, so I guess that's good enough, but I just missed it. So anybody should, public services.
They address those.
Sorry.
Looks like they address those as well.
Right.
Yep, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Public services, section 2. View for the information. Work with sections. What do we have to? Very fun. We'll see. Or as soon as we get lost. Note. Table numbers. So, okay, so I see what I stated. I see what staff's saying. So, I mean, in effect, are we making the numbers match up to the tables? Yes, I can't tell the staff's doing anything other than saying, you're saying something, but are we actually gonna synchronize them
Are
up?
we talking about the MBCI plan with the numbers in the comp plan?
Yes.
They should, I mean, their consultant requested that information from us to apply to their calculations, so I haven't seen that plan yet, but
Okay,
they should be using those numbers.
okay. So at this point, we can't really comment on it saying that,
Yeah, I can't comment whether they have or not yet.
I was saying. Yeah. The issue of infill. This is page 14, fourth paragraph. And before we get into it, just a second, to let people in the audience know what's happening. We typically work, since we had a continuation from the last meeting, we have to kind of work in sequence. And so I'm not trying to keep you here any longer than I have to, but assuming you're commenting about the rezone. And so I know that's the purpose, but I'm trying to get. All right. So I'm not trying to torture. I was wondering. Thank you. I got that feeling. I picked up on that vibe, and so I said I need to address it. So you're welcome. I appreciate it. So we'll try to make this quick. Yeah. Anyways, page 14 in the fourth paragraph. When it's being stated as infill, where are we talking about? Because I remember it was a big discussion back in 2005 or 6 with the golf course. And there was a discussion about now, obviously, technically get rid of the golf course and you can infill.
I think it's talking about infilling undeveloped properties in
Okay.
the,
But they
Okay.
haven't been identified. That would be.
it's on a case by case basis,
Yeah.
it says that parcel by parcel basis for the infill opportunity.
My recommendation on the whole infill, just knowing the lay of the land and people in the parcels and everything. I mean, we can leave it in there, but it's not really needed. The issue really is if there's sewer or if there's water, something will happen. Until there's sewer or water, nothing happens. The power seems to come okay. Eventually, roads will finally get in, but it's always the water and the sewer that are the real killers.
I still think if you're trying to, I don't want to say deter development, but deter massive growth, then that comes from infilling the lots that are already there. And it says additional action would be needed to identify those parcels. So if a parcel doesn't have access to sewer or water, then it's not a candidate for
Right.
infilling.
Yeah, the problem is it's just how the word phrases.
No, I know, but I mean, I think that you should prioritize or rather put an
Yeah.
emphasis on infilling what's there as opposed to,
Sure, okay. From the standpoint of, don't put it on the outside, so to speak, put it, if there's facilities, definitely emphasis towards the core versus the extremities.
I think even if there's not facilities, develop some facilities for what's there as opposed to pushing facilities further out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I concur with that.
I agree with that as well.
Sounds logical.
Then we move on.
Yeah.
Because it. Seventh areas. Okay, yes, that was done. I saw that. The updating from cities to surrounding counties. Page 16, third paragraph. So we're basically gonna remove all the overlays, right?
That is the plan.
And I would agree, the whole intent, 'cause I was there when they originally put the overlays in. It was miscommunicated to the community what the overlays were gonna do,
Mhm.
and they've never done that. It never worked the way, and once it was explained, going all the way back to, when Barb Atkins was the director, she explained it to us. And we just set it up backwards. We were trying to do one thing and it doesn't do it. So, personally, I'd say, yeah, the sooner those get off, the better for everybody. Just doesn't do. We just misunderstood and it was miscommunicated and got adopted into code.
Perfect, yeah.
This is where you had a zone, say, commercial, but then over the top of it was an overlay to have certain characteristics within that zone.
Mm.
The problem is for lack of a better word, we did it backwards.
Mm.
We were trying to get to one thing, but the way it was conveyed and the way it got set up was totally the opposite way it should have been.
So you recommended that we're gonna remove all that.
Right, so that's, when you
And
look at the map, that's those areas with the cross hatches on them.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend the fact that those.
Yeah.
I mean, it does not seem to help anybody. In any way, shape or form. It just hinders interest. Okay. Wait, anything on that, Michael?
No, I think you laid it out pretty darn clearly.
I'm sorry, did you say leave it on or take off? In other words, they're gonna get rid of
the overlay.
overlays.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Fine, it's been noted. Next one. Number 14. So staff is saying that being too specific here might getting in our way. Like, read this correctly.
Does that get back to the infill thing that to develop lots that already have water and sewer rather than adding more?
Yeah, it's like. I think the reason I originally raised it was, why even get the county involved? If you get the utilities in there, it's gonna help.
Yes.
So why even state it? But it's up to the PAC, which way you want to cut that. This is kind of like under looks like under LU two. Like Mason County, where it statements Mason County should undertake a partial level evaluation of vacant that it. I mean, I can go either way.
So leave it.
Leave it. People say leave it on page 17.
Yeah,
By you,
So the recommendation for LU2 is to identify opportunity sites in infill areas. So that goes back to the one question about places that all lots are
Yeah.
land that already has
Right.
infrastructure reach to it. Let's start with those. Is
Right.
that what we're saying?
That's
Yeah,
what we agreed to.
Yeah, I think that
Because I
makes
came
sense.
in with one pat
Yeah.
discussing it. So once we flipped one, then these
Yeah.
others flipped the other
Yeah,
way.
they're all gonna fall in domino.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 15.
Hey,
Page 18.
Yeah, page 18. Okay, so we're saying what I'm raising there should be looked at, basically addressed another time, not at the comp plan. That would understand.
So you're talking about changing the density.
This is my J15, which is on page 18.
Mhm.
That would understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that would be something that we don't.
So what was my issue with page 18? Oh, should, really what I'm saying is, should this mixed use section be including, I brought up the issue that none of the HOBs that, excuse me, HOAs, that Lakeland Village has was being, stated in here. Should that be included? And so it's not really related to the mixed use, although I put it there. It's a, in other words, we have residential clusters, employment zones, and mixed use zones. But what I was bringing up, there's no reference to how Lakeland Village kind of default zone or things, or does it even apply? The HOAs, does it have any bearing in any one of those three?
Residential cluster says Lakeland Village or other residential zones for additional density, such as townhomes or cottage housing may be appropriate. So it addresses,
So I guess, okay.
Yeah.
If you feel that's adequate, that's fine.
Yeah,
that leaves them to do what they feel.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah.
I'm good. Employment zones. Then do we even include employment zones? Because I mean, there's really not a lot of commercial areas in Allen. I don't remember ever coming up in the meeting a year ago. You know, when we met there, you know, on site, you know, up in Allen.
yeah, I wasn't here, but it. I mean, again, it's a generalized statement that,
I mean, it can be left there, but I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
there's really no capacity to have zones really. But
again,
I
it
think
doesn't hurt anything.
it's a vision.
Yeah.
I think that Alan wants to.
Yeah.
Not grow, but maintain still characteristics of employment, of housing, of.
only 5 more to go.
So I think that identifying and then leaving them the opportunity to have employment zones. What does it hurt?
Agree.
What do you think?
I agree with Isaiah.
Thank you.
Okay, we did it. Moving on. Page 18, which is page 19. This is more of a question, but we don't have public works here. I was just curious how, because I worked, you know, particularly with tip cap and how one roundabout became 11 million and the other one 3.5. So
Now, I don't know the background on the cost of thing.
yeah, that was the problem is public works not here, so we can't really answer that one. Pay the next one, day 19. So it looks like we took care of this.
Mhm.
That all the PUD1 references were pulled out for water since there are none in Allen, the Allen UGA. Guess that's taken care of because staff made recommendations. They took care of it. And if anybody sees anything that staff's saying that, you know, just because I'm agreeing with it and that agreeing doesn't mean doesn't need to be
Right.
discussed. So
Well, it looks like
Raise
in the comments, it looks like it, the things were addressed and discussed.
okay. Number 20 page. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Page 22.
Address 21.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, my J22, which is page 22. So this was more looking at county time, just saying, why do we even have the county pursue this based upon how it's gone in the past, but hold on. This was, so we've already discussed the one
Yeah.
on adaptive reuse, fine, so that's. I mean, the Oyster House and Maritime History, that's mainly being handled by the community, not the county.
Right, again, it's their vision and
Right.
I see grants are mentioned and this and that, and if that's an avenue they want to.
That's, yeah, and that's them, that's not
Yes.
the county.
Right,
The only question I was asking, does this need to be in the county sub-area plan? And, but that's. I mean, because there's a 501c handling it, there's the court handling it.
yeah. I mean, are you saying that you're questioning whether we need to be so specific about calling out those specific structures?
Right.
You want to just make a general statement that
Well, it was either that or just totally take it
historical,
out.
yeah,
I think I was more in the scorched earth mentality, take it out and leave it alone.
yeah. And
Because
then
it's something.
they can
else.
still pursue if
Yeah,
they
they're
want
already
to
doing
pursue it, yeah. Yeah, because we are getting a little bit specific there. We don't probably need to be, if they're fulfilling their vision in the community, in the county and grants and et cetera.
What do you think?
I'd be okay to make it more of a general statement or leaving it
I
up.
guess I'm missing what,
This is
page 22 and 23.
I'm on this, the second to last one.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's right. The one in particular, we already addressed C2, so we're done with that.
Mhm.
C3 is, in my mind, we're saying it's getting specifics. Let's just let them do their thing and get it out of there.
I'd vote to delete it.
C3 entirely? Is that what you're saying, to get rid of C3?
Right.
It doesn't hurt to leave it, and it
It's-
satisfies public comment.
It's encouraging,
Yes,
it's not requiring, it's not.
Isaiah, Echo?
I think I like it, and I don't see any harm with leaving it, and I appreciate what it's saying. So unless there's some major consequence that could happen as a result of leaving it, why not leave it?
Right. All I was trying to do is just reduce text and
I
get
gotcha.
to
Yeah.
the meat of the potatoes of the subject, so. Okay. And the last item for our audience. the open
Same.
space.
Same thing. I think it falls into the same thing we we're just talking about. Hurt to leave it.
I agree.
I agree
And-
with that as well.
We're taking it out, but that's fine. I might. As you can tell, I'm kind of like reduce.
We won't have a sub area plan.
Pardon me?
I said, we won't have a sub area.
Oh, you'll have a summary. Just, believe me. Anyway, okay, we have come through all different portions of this. So now let's see, did staff ask us? Public comments, if you have staff comments, be deliberated. Okay, so of the three options, one is recommend approval of the plan as presented. Second is recommend approval of the plan with amendments. Three is recommend denial of the plan or some other issue.
I'll motion that we approve the plan with the changes that we made tonight.
With the amendments that we've made.
I second that.
Is motion on the table to recommend approval of the Allen suburban plan with the amendments that have been made to it. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
I
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Okay. Okay, next is a public hearing on the rezone of parcel 222. That's just, let me start with 22121 14 0010. From rural residential 5 to rural rural commercial 3 or C3. Staff presentation, please.
Okay, so you should all have the staff report for you. As Jeff noted, it's a request to rezone from rural residential 5 to 3. The applicant is Nick Reynolds. He submitted a complete application to permit center on 15th. He previously had a pre-application conference with our different departments, so fire, building, and public works may have been there. I wasn't involved in the meeting, but another planner was there and recommended the rural commercial 3 based on what he was wanting to continue doing on the property, which is holding music events and an accessory building. Now, he may have other requirements from different departments based on their review of the building and his proposed use. So that would be coming later after the decision on the rezone, of course, because then of course we'll decide whether he can continue with the use or not. So the subject parcel is almost 29 acres off of Highway 3. And the proposed use is a wedding and music venue and an existing structure on the lot. You'll see the map on there, the red dot on the map. It's proximity to Allen and off Highway 3. Right here is the subject parcel. So this is almost 29 acres right here, and it is adjacent to owned land owned by Nancy and Steve Diamond. The existing parcel has on it, if you see on the right there, there's a single family residence down here, and then there's an accessory building over here, garage building, that has been used as a venue for music. So this request is in software enforcement case. So he did the right thing and had his pre-app and is requesting a rezone to continue the use. In the staff report, you'll also see information on zoning. So you'll see information on the rural commercial 3, what the purpose of it is, as well as the current zoning, which is rural residential 5, and then the surrounding zoning. All rezones go through an analysis of the 8 rezone criteria. Most of the time, the 8th doesn't apply because if there's a error in the mapping, which this is not the case. So staff has responded to the 7 criteria that apply and believes the criteria is met based on the proposal that's been provided. The applicant filled out a non-project SEPA, as Kel mentioned in her staff report. We only asked the applicant to fill out the section A and then the C and D, C and D. And usually rezone, SEPAs for rezone, there's not much to them unless it's a rezone that already has a project in mind, such like a big commercial or an industrial project that may have a lot of environmental information already known up front. So this one is not much on it, but we did send it out for comment to the state agencies and the tribes. I didn't receive any comments from them by the deadline. I haven't received any comments from the public. Notice was posted on the property on January 13th, and the subject parcels that are within 300 feet around the subject parcel, the owners were mailed notice of the hearing, and the journal as well was given a notice that this publication. Like I said, no public comments were received. And staff is recommending approval of the recommendation as is. I don't believe there's any other. I don't have any other comments. If you have any questions on any of the information.
Okay, thank you. Okay, board, questions of staff?
So this is from rural residential to rural commercial. And the reason is they want to be able to have weddings on site. Is that sort of what's going on?
We want to use the current accessory building for, I think their main use is a music venue. So there's someone who sings and wants to invite people to have music events at it.
It's like it's pretty isolated, so no issues with
You can't
neighbors.
see the building from the road at all. So it is, I mean, from the highway, you can't see it if you're driving by. You'd have to drive into the property.
So if this is zone, the zoning's kind of a general thing. Would this suppose we wanted to then put in like a pellet plant or something? Would that be allowed under this, or you can tell I'm not very,
So so you do have to evaluate the proposed uses for rural commercial, like anything in the, permitted uses can be allowed. But there's going to be another level of review, and that may involve additional SEPA. So if, for review of environmental impacts as well, if it triggers SEPA.
so if I didn't want to do something like that, point back to this and say, wait a minute, that's not why you requested the rezoning. Is that sort of what you're saying?
I'm assuming you put the allowed use.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you look in your packet.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, but it's not in.
Oh, okay.
That was gonna be my comment, is I looked through the whole growth management thing and I couldn't really find the proposed uses for a rural commercial 3. I couldn't find any specifics or a matrix or generalization, so that was gonna be my question, is what
There is a
You
section.
can pull it up, it's under Title 17,
Right.
under our development regulation.
under what?
She's gonna pull it up
Okay,
here. And
oh,
then,
okay,
share
perfect,
it on the screen. But it is in our development regulations, Title 17,
okay,
so it'll be 17.
something, blah, 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 okay.
Not everything's in the comp plan.
Yeah, well, it's great, big old, I'm going through
God.
it. Because that was my question. I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but it just kind of plays off of Randy's thing. So
Yeah.
once they get this zoning, can they just kind of change it and do anything they want, commercially, or would they have to get re-permitted or whatever? That's my question.
There is a list of what's permitted.
Yeah, and that, I couldn't find that.
And she'll get
Okay.
that there.
All right,
So in our development regulations, that's where our permitted is going to be permitted uses for all these different zones. So this is rural commercial 3,
okay,
and you'll see uses permitted there. We have convenience store, retail, restaurant, office, small office, laundry, professional services, personal services.
okay.
Healthy,
Is that in the growth management plan, that great big old thing that you?
No,
Okay,
no.
where would I find that?
You can find this online if you go to, actually, I'll go back to with Melkit. So if you go to, on the Mason County website, you'll see it right here at the top where it says transparency.
Okay,
You go to codes and regulations, it takes you to this page. You can click on any one of these 3 because they all go to the same place. For some reason, I don't know why. And then you go down to the appropriate title. So it's going to be Title 17, the zoning, and then this specific section of that chapter
okay,
is going to be 17.04.
okay,
And that'll have all the zoning.
okay,
And then
Great.
all the permitted uses and
okay, thank you.
Question? For staff?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Echo, you have questions for staff?
No, I can't think of anything.
Have two quick ones. One is like on RR5, you can do like a 20-acre piece, you can subdivide up into 5-acre. On RC3, does it have that same or similar provision, or how's it, can it be subdivided?
Yes, it can, and then there are minimum standards for subdividing commercial properties.
So say that, assume, I knew the standards, which I don't right at the moment, but to what level could they a party subdivide? To what size? I guess what I'm saying is you have Oh, you're looking it up, I'm sorry.
Good question.
Yeah, there are minimum standards for that, so it's, I mean,
But it's variable,
that's a great question because when we developed zoning.
Right.
Which 30 years sounds like a long time ago, but in the world of zoning, it's really recent that Mason County.
Right.
Did this.
I never,
Countywide, and so, of course, we didn't anticipate, a 28-acre piece being rezoned for commercial use.
right. So it can be, but it's conditional on a bunch of factors. I mean, it has to meet other standards, you're saying, to be able to do it. It's doable, but it has to meet other requirements to some degree.
Yeah, it is doable. One of the things you guys are gonna wanna think about, I hadn't thought about until you asked the question, good one is, if the property, if the entire lot gets zoned commercial, and then they, in the future, wanna come in and get it subdivided, you can have smaller commercial lots.
Right.
And so you may wanna anticipate how you wanna handle that if you were inclined to accept a rezone at some level.
But, I mean, do we have to solve that problem here? Do we have the PAC have to solve that right now?
We would set a precedent, I suppose,
No,
right?
you don't. You could deliberate and ask
Each other.
things that we may wanna consider and come back to, all kinds
Okay,
of things.
I see what you're saying. In other words, deliberate on this, but then have, and say, for example, say we approve it, but then say, but what needs, what we need staff to do is for future to address how subdivisions would be, of these types of parcels would exist. Is that what I hear you saying?
I think the regulation goes with the zoning though, so
I'm sorry?
the regulation goes with the
Right,
zoning.
so you're gonna have you could essentially have 5 parcels of commercial.
I don't know.
Well, yeah,
I can't-
that's what you're saying.
I can't-
No, if you rezone it as commercial, we have less restrictive standards for size. You could end up with, theoretically,
see,
they could come
okay.
in and subdivide, hey, I have 28 acres of rural commercial free, and they want to subdivide it. So that's a question that.
And
you
it's
really
is
want
there a
to-
minimal size, lot size for
No, that's what
commercial?
I'm saying. There are super minimal standards, so
So you
could
could do
end up with
28
full
1 acre.
commercial lots on the highway, which is not something that
It's not real.
is something I think, that's not something staff, I think, would recommend, and clearly that's in all of the events that have taken place with the property that was functioning, and after the fact that staff found out about and went after enforcement, and then lots of meetings with the
Right.
property owner, and then this was one of the recommendations from the staff, the planner for that area, recommending you go through a rezone, and then Marissa's been handling the rezone, but all in the context of a single 28-acre piece. Not with a question that you guys have raised about, oh, what about 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 1 year from now?
So it's surrounded by timberland. What
Yeah.
is the wrecking yard zone just a little ways down the road?
That I think is also, it's just grandfathered in, it's existed before zoning,
Right.
All right.
so I don't think they zoned it.
Isn't it R5 still?
So a minimum lot size for commercial is smaller than residential minimum lot size, is that right? Yeah,
Quarter of an acre.
for commercial, yeah.
As long as the other setbacks are met for whatever it was trying to do.
That really is.
We're trying to be consistent here. Well. While you're looking at, do you want me to have public testimony or you want?
But I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Once they're done looking
Okay.
stuff up.
Okay.
Okay.
So the question on the wrecking yard was?
The majority of it is rural residential 5, where it looks like I don't know if that's the one parcel though is rural residential, rural industrial. But the rest of it is rural residential 5.
Like the industrial one, which side of the street,
It's like the same on the north,
On the west.
all
west side?
west of Anthony.
Okay.
I had a question. If you, I'm showing my ignorance on zoning rules, but if you approve a zoning rural commercial, are you allowed to put restrictions on it? Like, okay, we're gonna give you the zoning, but the only thing you get to do is have weddings on it. Is that allowed or no?
It's a gray area. It's not that it's not allowed, and I haven't reviewed any case law recently, but it's strongly recommended not to put restrictions on zoning. And understand that when you're going to do a rezone, even though there's a specific use that's being proposed here, because they've been doing it, that you look at, you rezone with the understanding that all the uses allowed in that zone can be allowed now and into the future.
Makes sense.
Echo, any questions of staff? Or further questions?
No further questions, although I certainly share some of the concerns being voiced about what could happen to that property in the future if it is rezoned.
One last one for me. Is this where we have fields blank? Is this again the issue, environmental? In the,
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'm done with questions. Anybody else? Okay. Public comment. Anybody in the audience would like to comment?
I would like to comment.
Please state your name
My
and
name's Alfred Jones. How do you say no to the next guy that has a piece of property in rural Mason County? That wants to take his property from rural commercial 5, rural residential 5 to rural commercial. But I don't think there's any precedent for this. And I don't see how you can say no to the next guy. And that might be me, if you say yes to this guy. Because this property is nowhere close to a commercial zone. Closest commercial zone is the Pickering district. This property is actually larger than all the commercial property in the Pickering district. They're creating a whole new district, and as it's been stated, this property can be divided into half-acre lots or quarter-acre lots. I have some commercial property in the Pickering district, and so I know this to be a fact because I've dealt with staff over at the office there. So I think you're heading down a road that I don't think Mason County should be heading down. Because to this point, commercial properties have been in the commercial zone. Like I said, there's no precedent that I can think of. There is, however, precedent for not allowing this. 2 or 3 years ago, a gentleman by the name of Buck Clark came to this committee to rezone his 5 acres from rural residential 5 to rural commercial 5, I think he wanted. And I voiced my opposition to that, as did several other people. And even though staff had recommended it, as they are this one now, the committee turned it down because it wasn't in the right area, it's in the wrong area, as this piece here is. I think this is a very because let me give you an example. I'll use myself as an example. I've got a 5.5 acre tract, 200 feet down Pickering Road from the fire hall. It's out of the, not in the commercial zone, but it's good enough for this guy. How do you say no to me? But I'll be in here, if the commissioners approve this plan, rezone, the next day I'll be filling out my steeper report. And I'll be back in here and how can you say no? I'll give you another example. As you drive down Pickering Road, the first business you come to is a grocery store called Terrace Corner Country Store. Right across, and that's zone RT2. Right across the street, right across Pickering Road from that, I have a 2-acre tract. That's in the Pickering district. How can you say no if how can you say no to anybody? Just got a piece of land anywhere in the county. If you set this precedent, this is a bad precedent. Staff says that all the criteria has been met. That's not true. It's in the wrong spot. It's not in the commercial zone. The commercial zone should stay, commercial property should stay in the established commercial zone. Pickering district to me means that from Highway 3 down to Phillips Lake Road or down to Spencer Lake Farm, real somewhere in that area, that whole area there. Not out on Highway 3, 3 miles from the closest, Allen or it's even further to Allen. So I'll be back here. You can decide whether my 5.5 acres qualifies or not. If the commissioners decide to approve this, I would like you guys to not recommend, or to recommend to them that they don't approve. Thank you.
Thank you. Other parties in the audience?
Together.
I'd like to
We're
go
all-
on record to being opposed.
Opposed. Okay.
Yeah, we're opposed.
Opposed to the
rezone.
region.
Yeah, I mean, I could agree. I wasn't planning on it, but I mean, just to say,
All I would ask is you state your name.
Jeremy Morse, Pickering Road.
Thank you.
So this also is gonna set a precedent. It's when someone, wants to do something, they're gonna illegally use the property, and then that's something that's gonna shoo the county into making him a commercial zone. Which could potentially, he's gonna make a lot of money on that, potentially. As you say, you can split those properties up in a much less restrictive way. And who knows what, you can end up with like a, Spanaway out there on the side of Highway 3. Potentially.
Yeah, sure.
So why is that not gonna happen? There's gonna be a financial reason to make it happen. So
I might actually gain financially by having you approve it.
No, that's what I was figuring.
That's not what I want.
Right. Thank you.
I don't think that 5.5 acres qualifies,
Okay.
but it will. If you pass this,
Right.
and it will qualify. I don't care, you can say no. How can you say no to me if you say yes to this guy?
Thank
It
you.
doesn't.
Thank you. Anybody else in the audience? Okay. Anybody else on Zoom land like to comment?
Yeah, I might pipe in.
Okay, you're recognized. Just announce your name and
That's me. Yes. I kind of actually feel where these people are coming from, but at the same time, I'm here because this is what the county recommended me to do. I'm not here to split up my property into 100 pieces. I live out here. I've lived out here my whole life, and actually kind of don't like what I've seen happen to the county already. I just want to have a couple of parties a year. I was doing 3 or 4 concerts a year, and evidently I'm endangering everybody's lives, and it's a terrible thing and all this. But if I do this rezone, then it'll be safe. So that's really all I'm interested in doing. I live on the property. I have no intent on moving. I'm paying $10,000 a year in property taxes right now, and I can't even have a concert in my house. So that's really all I'm trying to do is what I've been doing. And I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not disturbing anybody. I'm not affecting anybody. But I understand exactly where these other guys are coming from. You're right. If, this is commercial, well, this guy's commercial. And then Mankey's got 700 commercial and all that stuff. I don't really care what the zoning is, to tell you the truth. I just want to have parties in my place. That's it. That's really all it comes down to.
appreciate that.
So if you guys want to say, okay, no, you're not going to change the zoning, but you can have parties, That's really all this is about. That's really all this is about. I'm not going to put 700 property parcels in my front yard. I'm not doing that.
I think you can have a party by getting a special permit.
Event permit.
No, the building inspector, the fire marshal, the health department, everybody else says I can't do it unless I jump through all these hoops. So I'm just playing the game. That's all I'm doing. I'm humoring the process. And, you know, if you guys tell me no, then that's it. And you're going to have lots of people that are disappointed, but I'm not making a profit doing these. It's more of a give back to the community. It's a lot of fun. People enjoy it. I'm not going to point out anybody, but I'm sure there's some people in this room that's actually been to them. So that's really all this boils down to. But
Your
again,
part,
I totally agree with what these other two guys said. Is you're right. Is next thing you know, that whole corridor is commercial and it looks like East Bremerton or Tacoma. It just looks like a dump. And that would never be my intention. Absolutely not. Because like I said, again, I totally agree with what they're saying.
Okay, appreciate the comment, appreciate the feedback and your perspective on it.
But
for your
like I said, if I
party-
could throw a couple of weddings a year and a couple of concerts and parties with my friends, then that would be great. I don't really care about the rezone. I just want to be able to do that.
but when you do your parties, do you like charge a fee or whatever?
Oh yeah, of course I'm spending thousands of dollars in barbecue and booze and entertainment. Yeah, so I recoup my costs on it, but I'm not like gonna retire doing this. I actually sometimes borderline lose money doing it. Plus, by the time you add up all my time for planning and logistics and all that stuff, it's not profitable. No, I make way more money digging holes and building houses. This is more of a hobby on the side that I don't want to lose a bunch of money doing.
It's just the precedent that's set. I mean, everybody could.
Okay,
Anybody could.
anything else that would have to
What was
state?
that?
Anything else you'd like to convey to the board, to the PAC?
No, I mean that's just where I'm coming from. I mean, if you guys tell me to pack sand, then I guess that is what it is. But just one more nail in the coffin for me. That's it.
Okay, thank you for your presentation on it. Appreciate
All
it.
right. Good luck.
Yep. Anybody else, Zoom line? Pardon me?
He's the only one.
Yeah, okay.
I just thought of something, I don't know, is it still open?
It's still open, public comment's still open.
Okay.
So
So,
again, always state your names.
yeah, Jeremy Morris. So is there any way to do what you're saying and not rezone and still allow
We're gonna-
after party? So,
We're gonna probably grind through that here.
yeah, so there might be like a variance or something that you can put on that, or you could, I mean, if it had to be rezoned to commercial in order, well, to make it smoother or easier to make this happen, could there be like a variance for the subdivision of the property and make a small parcel around his garage there? Something like that. And then do a small piece instead of a 20
Right.
Can't rezone rural residential property for less than 5 acres.
without a variance.
You have to get it commercial, get a smaller piece.
Yeah.
Without a variance. I don't know.
Okay, well, appreciate the comments.
Boundary line does.
Okay, so I'm gonna close the public comment portion and go to PAC deliberations and discussions and possible recommendations. One issue, I think I understand the feeling and the potential, and that's one reason I raised the issue about subdividing was it looked like to me there was an open book. When I look at the comp plan and I look at what we're trying to achieve with zoning, this activity where it's going is not going in the right direction, I feel. At the same time, legally, at least legally, looking at all your rules and regs, I don't see how we can say no to a party either, because he's meeting all the requirements. Well,
Well, in the right spot.
yeah, but I'm saying, when you apply for the reason, he's applying for rezone. When you look at all the requirements of that rezone, it looks like to me that he's meeting the parties meeting all those requirements. Now, I'm not agreeing that that's what should be. I'm just saying, looking at it from the standpoint, what we have for guidelines and rules and regs, it looks like, you know, as you've stated, that anybody could start doing this. And
Sprawl,
right,
sprawl is what they've been telling me for years.
right, no,
They don't
and
want.
that's not what we want, but yet we have, because of the regs we have and the path they're going down, that's the only option, or say no, but the problem I'm having saying no is that party is meeting all the steps in your rezone process. And you know what I'm saying? In other words, he's meeting all the steps. It's just that some of us don't like the outcome of where that, not because of him or that party in particular, but where that can go down the road, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now.
Well, and set a precedent, like you
Right.
said, so. Yeah,
So first of all, I'm lucky in this case. I won't have to vote. But
well, is there a workaround? I mean, is there a way you could this gentleman could subdivide, that, I know when I'm going back to a time when I had a parcel and I wanted to, you know, I had a 5-acre parcel of forest and I wanted to build a house, so I had to take an acre out.
Mhm.
But I still had to have a certain amount left in forest, and I could do that. I have forest and then I have residential. Is there a way that he can carve out an acre or whatever and make it, or 2 acres and make that the commercial rural zone and the other is still
That would
residential?
be possible. That's something that, staff would want to work directly with the applicant on, what portion do they want. So let's say there's a scenario where the PAC recommends approval of commercial, but only however many acres.
Mhm.
And then it would be up to, I would think that it would be up to the applicant to assess, for parking and ingress,
Right.
egress, and the buildings that are necessary, what that would be. And then would have to go through, a subdivision process, which would likely fit, because he's got 28 acres, it's R5, so you're not subdividing the residential piece, you would actually be carving out
Right,
an acreage that was for commercial, which doesn't have a minimum standards, what have you.
So there's
Yeah,
no,
and
I'm sorry, so there's no minimum number of acres for commercial?
right.
I don't recall the details, and I'm not sitting here reading code and going through our subdivision code and Title 17 or Title 16 subdivision stuff, and then also looking at the zoning code. But I do know that it is not like 5 acres or 2. It's
Small.
the criteria doesn't even
It's
talk
different.
about minimum lot size.
Right.
It's different than that.
So
And I'm
theoretically,
not one that does subdivision, so I don't want to pretend that I know all the details.
right, but
But
so theoretically, you could put a
Yes.
line around the facility, however, call that commercial, leave the rest of it residential.
that would be an option.
The workaround that may be worth investigating, because I think it's worth investigating, because I think growth management, the way I see the whole umbrella is to reduce sprawl. And even though he's not gonna sprawl it, somebody else purchases that from him and may wanna sprawl it.
Right.
And-
Down the road.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think, first of all, I don't want to stop what he's trying to do,
no,
but at the same time, I think we have a gaping hole in our process in this county as far as handling real commercial going forward. And it needs to be fixed. Not at this party's expense, but fixed for the whole county, because technically the gentleman over here is correct. Once you start that, it's open to a lot of.
I'll be here. For my property. Guarantee it. I've got 7 properties on Sherman Road.
Yeah. So state law does allow us to upzone up to 50 acres per year.
We have that in our code. rezone when you're up. to-
Oh, as far as a limit governing how much of these. But that,
Like, I mean, you know, there's gonna be a lot of other factors that determine whether you can even do that use in the area, whether you're gonna have sewer, septic, or water availability, so there's a bunch of other factors that.
but I mean, you know, you got the 5,000 gallon, you know, minimum, I mean, maximum. So I mean, you can do a lot with 5,000 gallons on the water. So I mean, I hear that there's a limit, but it's still.
So I'm actually a real estate developer. So 5,000 gallons is only going to give you 7 homes, and they only allow you 1 water system per continuous project. So even worst case scenario, if somebody wanted to go in there and put in a housing development and they put in a well, they're only going to get 7 houses. That's 4,900 gallons because 5,000 gallons per well is the maximum.
Right, I, as luck would have it, I got up to 14.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I always I get permits all the time, and I'm always told you get 7 or 750 per house. So,
No problem, no problem.
and then, like you said, I'm really only here because I'm just doing what I was told that I needed to do. And
Right.
like the gentleman in the front there said, you know, I this is the path that I had to take, and I did what you guys asked to do, and here I am. So it's like I almost feel like if you tell me no, I want my money back because I did exactly what I was supposed to do.
Appreciate that. Anyway, I'm gonna close public comment on both sides here, so that.
Oh, sorry about that.
Thank you, no problem.
By the way, I've been to that facility. It's really a cool facility. I believe him. I don't think he's intending,
Yeah.
but we don't know what's gonna happen once the proper transfer to someone else.
Yeah, no, I get it. So,
Well, it's not only that, it's setting the precedent for future
right,
people that have lots that want to do the same thing.
So he's been, I'm sorry,
a recommendation that I would say is this needs to go back to the staff and see if there's a workaround. Because I don't think the only problem I'm having a little bit is that you legally, I think, I'm not a lawyer, but I think legally, because you have all these steps he's following.
Mhm.
And you know,
Now you're saying, sorry, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
No, I hear what you're saying.
But I mean, this was an enforcement case, so this was a property owner who applied and got a garage storage building. And then continued to have public events without inside a building that was not ever inspected for life safety issues.
For occupancy.
That other people in the county do follow those rules. And so I'm very empathetic towards the hoops that have to go, and I wish we could do whatever we want, because I am a freedom first, but here we are. And so the state required us under growth management to do zoning in the county in the 90s. We did that, and we're still 30 years later kind of working out all of the nuances. And we try to do our best to allow, to the greatest extent possible, the people to get to what they want to do without disturbing others and staying within the law. And so it is complicated and frustrating. I think there may be some workarounds if he's willing, maybe perhaps to do a smaller area than the 28 acres to rezone. You know, I'm not, you know, I don't know if that's something he'd be willing to consider. I don't know if that, you know, I don't know. I also think that you know, we have the ability to do some commercial upzoning in the county, and it is spot specific on, is there residential around you? You know, if this had residentially developed properties around here, perhaps staff would say, no, we don't think this is a good idea. You know, that's a loud noise, but when you're surrounded by designated forest lands, kind of like, okay, you're off the highway and the state allows you an ingress egress off of Highway 3, and you're able to get that for safe, you know, comings and goings and everything else. Seems like an option.
seems like we have to send it back to you. I mean, it's up to the rest of the board, but if I was having any say in it, I would say that.
You can't solve.
I know, I'm just gonna say.
No, I agree. I think we should send it back have them explore any potential workaround.
Send it back for what? For a smaller, is the board, I mean, is the PAC inclined to support the recommendation of approving a smaller portion to commercial? All of it?
I would be inclined.
We've looked at the staff level, I have not been involved. So staff has been deal, and I don't know how much you were involved. There's other planning staff, fire and building code, environmental health, they've all been involved on this issue. And this was an outcome that you need to
Right.
a rezone instead of working within the rural residential 5 zone, you change that zoning to allow stuff like this. Well, then then everybody in an RR5 zone would all of a sudden be able to convert. I'm in an RR5 and have I don't have any parking, but I could create parking in my field, I guess. I just don't know that all the neighbors within the county would. I don't know. But
Yeah.
Any other zoning at
Not
all
any.
that's less broad in the use? Like, is there any other zoning? Because that was a lot that was listed there. Is there anything that is less broad as to like?
It's not really a lot, actually. A lot
I mean, it's not-
really
it's not-
outdated that was not.
I mean, it was like grocery store, like
Yeah.
hotel. There was a few things, there, campground, yada, yada.
But I
Is
think
there
the
anything
issue,
before?
Isaiah, was that the whole 20
No, I get
acres
that.
could be tiny little
I
parcels.
get it.
So I guess I would be in favor, just my first blush on it, I'd be in favor of seeing if there's a way similar to, I go back to the forest thing, where he could subdivide a small piece out of that and leave the rest of it in rural residential and subdivide that small, whatever he feels is necessary for parking in his building and whatnot, and have that be a smaller commercial RC5.
I think what needs to be addressed there though is 1 acre is converted to this, which people obviously don't like, then that does leave the ability for
Right.
continuing acres to be converted,
Well, yeah,
which is
I mean, they're adjacent, especially.
fine, but if we're worried about
yeah.
29 acres being converted to it, but we were okay with 1, it doesn't really fix that issue.
Well, it does if you follow our precedent by making it a 2 acre, then maybe only 2 acres can be developed out of that 28 for commercial rather than tiny little strip malls.
I get it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I'd like to see us try to work with it.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, no, I want to see the PAC work with
Yeah.
the applicant. At the same time, I don't want to set a precedence the wrong way. And I'm just saying the way our code and all these things are set up, I mean, obviously staff came to the same conclusion. You're looking through all their things. They recommended it.
Well, but she's also acknowledging that, I mean, these are things that they're growing pains. As you get challenged through, then you got to figure out how to
Okay,
make it.
but still, that doesn't take away from the fact they recommended it. All I'm saying is they're following the same thing criteria. I'm thinking we're gonna, we would be forced to follow too. In other words,
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, we're an advisory board.
Yeah.
So we could say no, we could say yes, we could say conditions, whatever. But I'd like to think that the things that the PAC recommends are legit and in the right direction. That both meaning what property owners have, but also, what growth management, on the other side and what the zoning is and what have you. So to me, this, I say come back to you, but I mean, it's like, we don't know, I don't know all the possibilities of options that you could possibly look into, what could or could not work. But something needs to be looked into. The way this is now, I agree with the gentleman that once you start it, it's off to, even though you have the limit on it, it's just gonna be pressure. And then, at some point, some commissioner is gonna acquiesce. And I've seen it before. It just eventually goes to, now it's 100 acres a year, type thing.
So that's the state thing, is the 50 acres a year.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So what is that restriction, 50 acres?
A year can be changed from.
Up zone.
Is that a maximum or a minimum?
Maximum.
Okay,
Well, do we want, the flip side, you know, my mind says, well, do we want 50 acres every year being up zone in this county over time?
Well, it's a state thing, she just said.
No, but what I'm really trying to say is the issue of saying no or yes. Do we want, is that where we really want to go with this?
Well, I think it depends. I mean, it's thoughtful growth. It's thoughtful sprawl. I mean, I think that's the
What
recommendation.
each individual's idea of stuff.
Exactly. Well, you don't want to
Okay.
be going like from Eastgate to Bellevue to Redmond and never see a division of a town. I
Right.
think that's what sprawl is to me.
Okay, committee. Any thoughts? How you want to handle this?
I'm not ready to make it.
Okay.
Well, no,
At least, okay, so what I hear one member saying is with what we're presented to this point, don't want to make a determination, right?
I'd like to see, I'd like to explore the workarounds that,
I would too, and it wouldn't necessarily have to be just for carving out, whatever workarounds might be available needs to be explored.
Okay.
And the fact that, well, that's what they recommended, well, they've already said, well, oh, that's a good question, we haven't thought of that kind of thing,
Yeah.
so. I don't, and I'm not sure I agree, I'll talk to my attorney, but I don't think we're legally required to.
No, I mean, we're advisory, but
I mean, maybe it's an ethical thing, he's gone through all the steps, but I understand his position.
but I'm not even talking about the ethics. I'm saying that you have, if you look at your code, at least when I look at the code of the process of rezoning, what have you, it looks like to me that all the steps and all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed.
That doesn't mean we're required to say yes.
I've applied for several permits where they give me a checklist and I've done all those checklists. I go turn it in, they go, no, well, we forgot you put it in, you did, you know, you think you always got one more that you gotta do. One more hoop you
Well,
gotta
my
jump through.
leaning is that, you know, even though can't vote at this point, is that going down the course, I don't want to go down this course.
Yeah.
But I do want to solve this gentleman's problem.
Right. And it would be the same way we'd have to resolve
Right.
down the line.
Yeah, I wanted to be able to work with, you know,
Right.
other members of the community, other property owners. Echo, any thought from you?
I do feel a lot of reservations about approving this plan as it is, and I really want to see if there's any any other workaround that we can approach this with, and that's where I'm at.
Okay. So basically, if I can sum up, and then somebody can make it as a motion back to staff. The committee wants staff to see if there's any other kind of workaround or approach to working this other than at least what's on the table at this point.
Our motion to send this back to staff to work with the applicant, see if there's another resolution.
I second that.
There's a motion that's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, there you go.
I can see there might be more legal in the paper in the future about this. We
Definitely,
got another meeting sometime.
definitely.
All right.
And
That's why I buy the paper. Otherwise, I wouldn't know.
thank you for.
All right.
You can look at our website, that'd be another source.
I guess I just have a question if it's not too late.
Well,
So I'm not really in the habit of like doing what I'm asked and jumping through all these hoops just to say, well, okay, nice try. I know you did what we said, but you can't do that. And I'm not trying to be like cynical or anything, but I'm just saying, like, if you guys come up with another plan and I jump through all these hoops and somebody else comes in and says, I still don't like it, am I spinning my wheels? You know, I'd rather have like, this isn't going to happen or do these things and all. That's all I did. Like I said, I literally just did what I was asked. And now I'm said, well, nice try.
I can understand your frustration.
Sure.
The problem is when it comes before this committee, the committee is kind of stuck on this, what we're presented. And so then we have to work with that, and then we raise issues. And, it's unfortunate. I've been in the same shoes you've been in another point in time in life. Exactly, not this type of subject exactly, but a rezone. And I understand, you start with the criteria and that gets jammed up. So, anyway,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like if I would have needed 3 different options here, I would have prepared 3 different options, but
I hear,
you know what I mean? Like I'm confused at this point. I just paid $2,000 to be told, well, spend some more money and try another way.
all I can say is, I understand the problem. I'm on the wrong end to make it happen. All I
Sure.
can do is present it to us and have the advice from that point. So anyway, thank you for the comment. Okay, anyway, so we've made a motion, second it, and it's been approved. Any further discussions of anything for the back in
I had
the
a question. For example, Island Lake, isn't that zone residential?
neighborhood?
But we do have some B&Bs on there. People charge to come in and rent the house for 2 weeks in the summer or whatever. How does that work?
Short-term rentals, we don't regulate short-term rentals.
What if we call this a short-term rental?
Well, a short-term rental is for lodging, you can't have, I mean, he has a,
Well, it's still the only two, he's got lodging in there.
Let's,
but it's residential lodging. This isn't having a music venue.
I don't know. What's to prevent them from bringing a band in on their lot and Island Lake? I'm allowed to express an opinion.
I'm saying we've asked staff.
I'm allowed to bring up a point. Don't muzzle me. I've been experienced enough of that already in this committee. Anyway, that's just my point.
So, yeah, residential.
Maybe that's a potential workaround. I don't know.
You're right. You mean, you could have a couple RVs in there and people stay
Yeah.
overnight and,
So what's the difference?
and it'd be a Airbnb for the weekend and listen to music.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a workaround
I'm
possibly.
just saying, consider other options.
So if my building official and my fire marshal were here, they would tell you how different it is in building codes on occupancy class and how things are built and constructed and inspected for hosting live events that are commercial in nature. So it's very different than having your family or friends where you're not, even if they're giving you money for all the food that you bought them or barbecue, it's not a public event. It is a private event at a residential home, and there's,
Well, he could argue.
I mean, we could argue about the whole nature of the difference between residential, commercial, and industrial properties, and why you can't, but renting out your residential home to another set of people is not the same as having events.
I've seen events on Lake and they say anybody wants to come by. Anyway.
So you're saying,
Seems
Randy,
like
you
the
would,
concept similar. I don't get any difference. Whatever.
you would approve this, you would vote to approve,
What he wants,
yeah,
not without a workaround.
okay.
Well, what do you describe to me what a workaround is? Because if you're asking a workaround as in no zoning change, no development regs change, just get to do what you want to do, that doesn't work within the building code,
That's not what
codes, and
That's not what we're saying.
Yeah, I'll sign that one.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that would just be going, pre-GMA, and it wouldn't go against building code, so he would just have to meet the building code standards, but zoning wouldn't apply. But unfortunately, as of 1991, the state growth management passed and Mason County got thrown into it, and here we are. So it really does provide a conundrum for people who want to do what they want to do but can't do it.
So is a reasonable workaround? I know it's not for him because he spent a bunch of money to do this, but is a workaround to subdivide and create a smaller rural commercial parcel and leave the rest in
I mean,
residential.
that's a doable thing.
Yeah.
That is what that's your purview.
Yeah,
I guess,
Your purview is to approve the 28, whatever approve the rezone for the whole site, approve a rezone for a smaller site, or deny the rezone.
Hmm.
Because staff has ad nauseum between building, fire, and planning, and I think environmental health, although they have more of like the water, food, I think those are issues that they're dealing with separately. But between fire, building, and planning, they've worked every workaround possible.
Hmm.
And they finally got to the point is if you could rezone it, then we can work on meeting building code and fire code, but don't waste your money meeting building and fire code if planning on zoning isn't going to work. And planning, the zoning issue is with the PAC and then the Board of County Commissioners. So to me, I see 3 options: deny, approve as requested, or approve as a smaller portion. I don't see another workaround unless someone brings that up that fire, building, planning, environmental health have not thought of at this point.
well, then I think for us to postpone it and think about it, like Isaiah was saying, it's just delaying the inevitable. I say we either,
well, we made a motion.
I think the ironic thing is just, I don't understand, I'm all about property being used for whatever you want to use
Yeah.
it for. But what I'm hearing is that we're not okay with commercial in this section. So why does it matter if it's 30 acres or if it's 1?
Yeah.
We're not okay with commercial, then why are we even considering it? That's my,
You guys are.
well, that's what the consensus has been, is that we don't, and also from input, is that commercial doesn't belong here. So
I don't think we're saying that. We're saying that,
Yeah,
if I can finish.
Yeah.
No, we're not saying don't want commercial in there. We're just saying we don't want the full 28 acres. That's why we're suggesting one workaround might be just carve out the one piece. So the 28 acres are not vulnerable to pellet factories or whatever else a subsequent owner might want to do.
well, that's not allowed in the,
We don't know that's so.
So,
It's
for
not
the
allowed.
RC3.
for point of order. We've made a motion. And we haven't given staff any time to work it. It seems like we're beating up on it until they need to look at it a little bit more.
She just,
Well, yeah,
she
she
just
just
said
gave us
there's
3
no other
choices.
option, so
Right.
I guess the idea is reduce that size, and everybody has to be okay with allowing that smaller zoning change. Or do
we
nothing.
deny it, yeah. But if the state allows you to up zone
Yeah.
50 acres, and then it fits in that, so we being consistent in that, we're up zoning according to state law. We could do all 28 acres, but we're afraid of that sprawl and that one big sprawl rather than an up zone here and an up zone over here. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think we should do nothing. I think we need to do one of those
You
3
made a
options
motion.
tonight.
You made a
We made a motion, yeah, but no.
We have to repost it
Yeah.
and then, it seems like, and it's one of the folks that testified would want to come back again.
I think we already decided. and voted,
So
right?
to
Yeah, we
make
did.
the motion, one of those 3 choices tonight, wouldn't that,
We've already motioned.
Meeting's over.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so now the public has left, and so you cannot make
Yeah.
another, you can't make any
Okay,
decisions.
okay.
Even though we haven't
Now.
adjourned yet. but-
okay.
Yeah,
Technically, we're still.
Yeah, but it'd be sloppy.
no, you can't,
We can't do
no,
that.
I mean, my public
I won't let
records
you.
person, my open public meetings act person
No.
would have to be
Okay,
fired.
so the motion that Isaiah made was to approve it with,
Why don't you have
Let's
staff?
okay, let's read it back, yeah.
I don't have it word for word,
Okay,
but it was to send it back to staff. That was all you said.
Send it back to staff to get with the applicant and see if there was an alternative, i.e. reducing the amount of acreage. And if that is able to be done, then that would be a resolution. I think we all can take some time to research potentials with that. But and so the motion is pass.
Yeah.
But I guess I just don't understand why we're not okay with commercial in an area, but we are if it's 1 acre. That is it's inconsistent.
Can I chime in just, I recognize that inconsistency, and I think all of this is stemming from the fact that we relate to what this guy, the property owner, this gentleman's going through, and we want to be able to make some sort of a special case for him to do this thing that he likes to do. But without setting some sort of a precedent that we could strongly regret later on. And so I understand that we're kind of, this is a funny mixture we're trying to do, and I think it is inconsistent.
But it's not really inconsistent if the state is allowing you to have 50 acres a year.
The real,
That's the thing is his thing about setting precedent about like there are so many variables just because 120-acre parcel in the middle of a bunch of forest land with a wrecking yard down the road gets approved does not mean that a 5-acre parcel butting up against 20 houses would get approved. There's completely different things. So I don't really see precedent being set by making a determination on that. But I guess my thing is, if the idea is that it's not appropriate for the area, then it doesn't matter if it is 30 acres or 1.
Okay, I understand what you mean
I
now.
think once you change that mentality, then you need to look at it a lot clearer. Is it okay?
No, I think there's a difference. You're saying this, for this one thing to do what he wants to do, but mitigate the concerns. That's the difference between 28 and 1. I mean, isn't that what zoning is? You're restricting what possibly can happen in the future. That's what zoning is.
and some could argue that it enables you to do certain things also. It's an enabler and it's also, it's both.
Yeah.
It's not one or the other. In each case, it might be, a particular issue, it might be one or the other, but the option's open. Either way, expansive or restricted. And they're even agreeing with me, which isn't normal.
Yeah, I think we voted a half hour ago, so I move we adjourn.
A second, I'll hear a second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you for the debate.
Interesting.